Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Random Talk with Angie. My name is Ngozi Obifna. It's been a minute, and I hope we've all been well. I would also love to welcome us all to the beautiful month of April, and I wish that all the good things you desire would happen to you this month. Today, I would love to share my thoughts on empathy with you. Empathy is the ability to recognize, share, and understand the emotions of others. It's also the ability to view things from the perspective of others. It's a very important skill as it helps build our connections with others and also in conflict resolutions. It is crucial to both have empathy and show it. Empathy is different from sympathy, as sympathy means feeling concern for another's suffering and desiring to assist or help. Did you know that 98% of people have the ability to empathize with others, with the exceptions being sociopaths, narcissists, and psychopaths? There are various kinds of empathy. There is affective or emotional empathy, which deals with sharing emotions and feelings of others, and it can be as extreme as even in crying in movies or feeling the pain of others when seeing a scary movie. There is cognitive empathy, which deals with understanding the emotions of others, for example, psychologists or therapists, or looking at all sides of a problem before preferring a solution. There is also emotional regulation or control, which means regulating one's emotions. For example, soldiers who go to war and surgeons who need to control their emotions before, during, and after surgeries. Compassionate empathy has to do with taking feelings to actions and going beyond understanding. So why do we need empathy? In order to understand the feelings of others, however, we should aim to strike a balance so we can adequately respond to an incident and not fall prey to manipulators and deceitful people. Maya Angelou once said, "I think we all have empathy. We may not have enough courage to display it." And so I ask, who should we be empathetic towards? We should actually be empathetic towards everyone. We should not only show empathy to those whom we are cozy with, but to everyone you meet and encounter at every point in time. Someone you know did not get a job or pass that test or interview after many trials. Your choice of words or generic statements could actually make matters worse than they already are. I remember a time sometime last year when I had to deal with many things at once. It was actually beautiful to see those whom I call my support system be highly empathetic to. Their choice of words were really uplifting. Their choice of words helped me go through the situations I had to deal with at that time. All they said, all they showed, all they did helped me pull through that particular period, and I was able to bounce back in no time. And so what do you do when you're faced with such a situation, when you know someone who is faced with such a situation? You could actually just try to be present, not necessarily physically present. You could actually just try to be present with that person in that person's life. Most times you really do not have to say anything. Your company, your presence, just you listening to them talk or rant about how they feel may help them get better at that moment. Other times you could actually say things like, "Sorry you had to deal with this. I know how hard you worked. I know how frustrating it must be." Just try to show empathy. Try to understand the person's feelings or the person's perspective at that point in time. So what if it's the loss of a loved one that someone you know has to deal with? What do you do? What do you say? Be present, be mute. Sometimes they really do not want you to start saying things that may work them up. You can actually offer to say, "Oh, how can I help?" You can actually ask the person, "How have you been dealing or handling this situation? Is there anything I can do to help?" There are many other examples and ways you could actually show empathy to someone who is going through a very difficult situation. And so I would recommend the book, The Art of Empathy, A Complete Guide to Life's Most Essential Skill by Carla McLaren. I got Nello to share her thoughts on empathy, and this was what she had to say.
I think empathy is a very important and rare quality to find nowadays, because I have a personal theory that as time has progressed, the quality of people have reduced. So people are becoming more self-absorbed, people are becoming more aggressive and wicked. And most of the qualities, we would find in the past, we can't find them nowadays. So if you are able to find an environment, I don't want to limit it to like the workplace or relationship, if you're able to find any space or community where empathy is emphasized, then you found gold, because I think it's rare. And what baffles me is the fact that empathy is just the ability to put yourself in another person's shoes. Like, in simple terms, it's do unto others what you expect that they'll do to you. So talk to people the way you expect them to talk to you. Act the way you expect other people to act. I mean, it's not difficult, and it literally doesn't cost you anything. It really doesn't cost anybody anything to be empathetic. So I really don't understand why, it's such a rare quality to find nowadays.
Away from personal issues and bringing it down to the workplace, it's very sad to see that this is an issue that is common in our workplace. Many people lack empathy in the workplace. Many people do not want to understand your feeling, your perspective, what is going on with you with regards to the work. Some people do not just care. They just tell you, just get the job done. And so if you're lucky enough to work in a place where people are actually empathetic and understanding of your feelings and whatever you're going through, you really have to be grateful, because I tell you most solemnly, I have heard stories of people and how toxic and less empathetic their bosses can be, their colleagues can be, their seniors at work can be, their senior colleagues at work can be, and it's actually sad to see. With regards to empathy in the workplace, bosses and managers who lack empathy may only push employees to work beyond healthy and reasonable ways. By the time you exhibit empathy, by the time you show empathy to your team members, to your colleagues, this would only lead to increased performance, increased sales, and better leadership ability on your part. The fact that you're actually showing empathy does not mean you should excuse laziness. No, you need to know when to be firm, but you also need to know when to understand the feelings of others, especially in the workplace. J.K. Rowling once said, "I believe that lack of empathy is behind many problems, and I believe that it is disrupting our society." I'm sure you're wondering right now, how do you go about improving empathy? Firstly, you have to read books. If you lack empathy, and I know you know, and definitely you know when you lack empathy, you know when you're not even understanding of people's feelings, when you just give this I don't care attitude about what people are going through and all these things. But you should actually listen, create a judgment-free zone, and when you're listening, you should pay rapt attention to the person. Listen with your heart and not just follow for following's sake to be ready to interrupt at any point in time. No, pay rapt attention to whatever the person is saying at that moment. As an empathetic fellow, you should also try to understand people with different opinions and beliefs. We always can't be on the same page, no. And so what you should do at that moment is to calm down and understand the person's perspective, understand the person's different opinion or the person's different belief at that point in time. It baffles me when people say, that is who they are, this is who I am, take it or leave it. No, you groomed yourself to become that kind of person, knowingly or unknowingly. And so you have to make a conscious effort to change from being a very, very non-empathetic fellow to one who is able to understand the feelings and perspectives of others at every point in time. Don't forget that it increases your leadership abilities. It takes trust, loyalty, compassion, and care in being empathetic. No one is asking you to be overly soft. We're just asking you to try to calm down on being all tough and not caring about the feelings of others, not caring about the situation or perspective of others, and just believing that what you do is right, what you say is what it should be, and all. No. Remember that it starts with you. And so if you want to improve on empathy, if you want to be empathetic towards others, you must make sure that you are also an empathetic fellow, because you cannot give to others what you do not have. Remember, empathy is a lifelong building process. As you climb up the ladder of success, amongst all other things you need to get and gain as a leader, you also need to be able to show empathy as and when required. I would like to thank Nello for her contribution for today. Until I come your way next time, this is Random Talk with Angie. Have a beautiful week ahead.